The Lego Ninjago movie, possibly one of the greatest movies of our generation. Wait, no, that doesn't count. Where every time I record something, I get some sort of binging notification from my it's like I just can't go one video without getting a bing. Alright, hello and what is going on everyone, and welcome back to another Ninjago retrospective review. So today, before we get into season 1 of the series, we're going to be diving deep into the movie that started it all. Yes, that's right, the Lego Ninjago movie, the 100% canon movie that went to theaters and everybody, and I mean everybody, loved it. And let's dive straight deep into the
legend behind the legend of a Ninjago.
So the Lego Ninjago movie is a spin-off non-canon movie set in a completely different universe, set in the Lego movie universe, still containing the characters of Ninjago, that being our main ninjas Kai, Cole, Jay, Zane, Lloyd, Nia, Wu, Garmadon. They all return for their big screen, first and only big screen venture. Now, I decided I wanted to rewatch this movie for this review, and because I've been listening to the soundtrack of this movie a lot.
Tiger, hit the dragon, we're the best of it, no he ain't bragging! Where I belong, 'cause
It's got a really good soundtrack. Can you blame me? But after listening to Found My Place for the 12,000th time, I finally decided, since Microsoft sent me $7 on Xbox for some reason, I decided to use that money to buy the movie on Xbox for this review. So now let's get into my thoughts and likes and dislikes of the Lego Ninjago movie. So I want to start off by saying that I found the first half of this movie to be really enjoyable. I love the comedy and the new take on Ninjago. The premise of the first half is that Lloyd is hated by everyone, and he is secretly the green ninja in the team of the secret ninjas, of course being our same cast of characters from the TV series. With just like in the original pilot, the ninja are tasked to take out Lord Garmadon once and for all to stop him from constantly taking over Ninjago, but this has more of a comedic spin on it, rather than in the pilot show, and in the actual series it's got more of a serious tone. The beginning of this movie really does do a great job at giving us a first look, or a really in-depth look at Lloyd's life and how being the son of Garmadon really affects him in his mental state. While on the other hand, we see Garmadon vibing, having a good time destroying Ninjago with his epic theme song to take over the city.
Garmadon! What's my name? Garmadon! Say it again! Garmadon! I can't hear you!
Is some stuff within the first half that I am really disappointed about. Like, there's a lot of scenes or action scenes from the news that was in the trailers that I thought was going to be completely different from the movie that we saw in the trailers. I thought this was going to be more of a ninja focused movie than we actually got, but that's not too much of a big complaint. It was still cool that we got the scenes in the movie and they weren't just for the trailer. But there was a specific scene, the one with the baby from the trailer, that I thought was going to be like a huge plot of the movie, with Lloyd protecting his baby while fighting the shark people. It was really just like a split-second moment. Now, while speaking about the action, I have to say that this movie has some really good action. Now, they got Jackie Chan and a bunch of, like, his pals are... They got Jackie Chan and his crew to do actual ninja moves for this movie, which really brings, like, a whole new element to this and this animation, where the fight really just pops and seems so much more real than it should be, especially for a Lego movie. And that's something, whether you like this movie or not, you have to give it props for, and you have to show some appreciation, because that is really cool, and that's a lot of dedication. Now, speaking of Jackie Chan, I personally did not like his performance as Wu. He just didn't fit the character for me. He had some cool and funny lines. I liked the character himself, but the voice behind him, I don't know. I just feel Jackie Chan did not fit. His voice, more so, does not fit the character of Sensei Wu. But Justin Thorax as Garmadon absolutely killed it in this movie. His performance was hilarious, and I loved every second that Garmadon was on screen. As well as Dave Franco, he also really did good as Lloyd. I do prefer Sam Vincent as Lloyd after Season 8 with Sons of Garmadon, but Dave Franco really does do a great job at Lloyd in this movie, especially playing off of Justin Thorax's Garmadon. That relationship and that dynamic was something that really worked for me. Now, the transition between the middle half and the beginning half of this movie, I really didn't like. The stuff with the ultimate weapon and the cat, I did not like that stuff at all. It was just, it took me out of the movie. It was boring. It was something that I feel should not have been added at all. it is definitely not what I came to this movie for. I came to this movie for a Ninjago movie, and this part just wasn't it for me. I did not like the real world aspect coming into the Lego world for this movie, in this case being the giant cat, Meowthra. Although that cat is absolutely adorable. But with that being said, I didn't hate the middle half of this movie. I actually really loved the middle half, and I think the middle half of the movie is the best part of the movie, from the part when they get to the jungle to when they're going through the city with their elemental powers. That is the strongest part of the movie. This is where it feels the most like Ninjago. This is what I wanted for a Ninjago movie. It's this part in the movie where we get a lot of the Ninjago feel. We have our ninjas going on this quest to find the MacGuffin. In this case, it's to find their elemental powers and to find Spinjitzu, and this is when I loved it. As a fan of Ninjago, a fan of the original show, this was exactly what I wanted to watch this movie for, especially when seeing it for the first time in theaters and rewatching it. This half of the movie was done so well. We got so many great fight scenes, especially between Wu and Garmadon. That specific fight scene was done really well, and I could just watch that for hours on end if I needed to. Not to mention the little bits of lore from the show that got dropped, like Garmadon getting bit by a snake, and Garmadon, a lot of Garmadon lore was carried over from the show to the movie. Now, Spinjitzu really isn't a thing in this movie. They talk about it, they bring it up a couple times, but they never actually do Spinjitzu. But one thing that I did like about this movie was that Jay was the first to unlock his elemental powers, like he was the first one in the show. I thought that was really cool, and I really love that kind of callback to the show with Jay being the first person to do it. And again, the relationship between Garmadon and Lloyd in this middle half was really strong, and I love the way they developed the father and son relationship. And then, of course, when they get to the big city, finally having their elemental powers, it was just a beautiful spectacle show of just awesome Ninjago stuff, with the animation going absolutely crazy and the characters being the closest to the show than they've been this entire movie. I absolutely loved this section of the movie. It gets ruined when they find the cat in this last little act of the movie. Again, as a Ninjago fan, this is not something I liked, although I did like the cat eating Garmadon. I thought that was a really cool callback to how a lot of previous villains in Ninjago have died, or quote-unquote died. It's the little things that matter, although I was disappointed that no original music or not any other nods to the show existed in this, besides seeing Lloyd's Season 7 suit somewhere in the city in the early half of the movie. There wasn't a lot of references to the show, at least that I can notice. Honestly, if you just remove the cat, I think this would be the best Lego movie out of all of them. Maybe give it a little bit less of a goofy tone, add a couple more fight scenes in there. This would have been really cool. I know there was a whole nother plot for this movie originally, where Lloyd went back in time to stop Garmadon from turning evil, and that's a movie I would really love to see one day. Hopefully, someone out there, some stop-motion artist, or even Lego themselves, decides to make that a movie one day. But all in all, I think the Lego Ninjago movie is still a fairly enjoyable movie in the franchise. It is definitely not the best Lego movie, as it has a lot of faults, and the voice acting does fail in comparison, especially to the TV series and to the original Lego movies. A lot of the characters just don't fit the voices that they are given, and it's really unfortunate, and I really do dislike that they didn't even offer to bring the original voice actors into this, maybe not as the characters, but not even for a cameo appearance. I just didn't like that that didn't happen. I was really expecting to get some sort of cameo in the series, or movie, I should say. But with all that being said, I would have to give the Lego Ninjago movie a 7 to 8 out of 10. It was still a really enjoyable and solid movie, especially in that middle half. Again, and the beginning half was also really strong and really entertaining. It's really just that final bit with the cat and that middle piece with the cat that just breaks this movie from being a 9 or 10 out of 10 for me. But with all that being said, I'd love to hear your thoughts about the Lego Ninjago movie down below. Have you guys seen it? What did you think about it? If you have not seen it, be sure to let me know what you think of this weird review. I mean, I'm sure this review sounds so weird out of context. Being a fan of the show and not seeing the movie and just hearing about a giant cat and everything, you must be so confused. I would definitely recommend checking this movie out for yourself if you haven't seen it, and then come back here and give me your thoughts down below. Once again, thank you all so very much for watching. New Lego Monkey Kid and Ninjago retrospective reviews will be coming out next week. I hope you all guys looking forward to those. English is not the best right now. I go, yes, now I do. Thank you all for watching. I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.